All right, folks, it's been a long time since I recorded a video. This is going to be short. I'm just looking at the alt market. So BTC dropped last night a couple of percentage points. Let's look at it real quick. I've been saying already for a little bit of time that it's some complex correction going on before it continues higher. Now, right here in this chart, it needs to, if it claims above, to be conservative, 56,000, I believe, is ready to start grinding higher and higher. Now, we could possibly have a rejection off this level again, and we could possibly have 47, I would say between 48 and 47,000. Those are my bearish targets if BTC continues to just to decline. So now that we're in the XRP chart, it seems like XRP is sort of okay. In the high time frame, the monthly, if it can claim above 58 cents, basically 60 cents, pop up, come back and retest it, one could take it at a safe entry, or one could start laddering down now all the way down to about, let me see, 57 to about 48 cents, which will be the previous close, monthly close. We go down to a lower time frame. It's just very choppy price action. The higher time frames are the ones that look a little bit much better. The lower time frames they sort of look good. They're a little bit much clearer. You have making higher lows where price remain relatively flat. That means price should eventually pop up. But let's see what happens. And here the daily, the indicators is going straight up, and price really hasn't done much. So in my opinion, I think we could have a small pullback before we have a little nice pop up. Let's look at this BTC chart. It's been my accurate one recently. So on the daily, it broke the midpoint. Once it was sort of breaking the midpoint, I kind of knew it was going to drop. So it came back down to this RSI support zone that I've had for a long time. And usually price bounce off there. Now the key thing here, it has to get above the midpoint on the daily. I'm still a little bearish. I don't think we're out of the woods yet. But let's see what occurs on the weekly. Then we have a little more farther downside to come. On the weekly, just keep an eye on RSI level 64, between 64 and 56. Those are the bounce region, like you're seeing here on the 2-day. So let's see if it does a rounded retest, and then it slowly starts grinding up. But again, I think in my opinion, we have a little smaller correction to continue, possibly here, and then it goes up a little bit, and then before it comes back down. I don't see this. I'll be surprised if it goes anything below 47,000 and retouches 43. As we've seen, 43,000 has been a little nice demand zone around this region. It's kept being bought up. You can see here a little pop or a little more consolidation along this zone before a little drop, and possibly even lower, but I don't see that. I don't see 43K. I could be wrong. I think we could see 47K. Gets balls up quickly, something like this here. It gets balls up quickly before we continue the uptrend back to 85 to 100,000. All right, but don't take my word for it. But that's what I'm targeting. I do believe we have a little further down correction to go. ETH, I really haven't looked at ETH in a long time, so I really don't have much to say. I really haven't charted it, but straight from a PA, it still hasn't broken this downtrend line here. We could possibly have a little. It still hasn't broken the downtrend. All the indicators are looking bearish. It seems that we could have another drop. So if I was looking at ETH, I would see a little pop up before we have a drop, possibly back down to 1,300, 1,400. Dominance chart has been. Oh, that's the ETH dominance chart. Dominance chart has been a little. It's been a little confusing, perplexed. I think the fact that dominance right now is breaking below 61%, and if it continues to break down, I think it's going to continue to break down. It's going to be a slow grind down. Some all's going to pop off here and there, but I don't think this is a full-blown sell-off, meaning that it's an obvious sell-off like it was over here, where this pin bar to me was an obvious sell-off of this resistance zone. Here's sort of neutral. Here's sort of neutral, but everything on the lower is starting to seem like it's It wants to continue a little farther down. We could have a little smaller pop down before we have a pop up, but it seems like the continuation trend is downward. You can start scaling into some alts. I think Verge, Sia, they look strong. Those are buy the dips, in my opinion. XLM, those are the ones that you should be considering to scaling in, buying small here and there at key support levels. So let's look at some. We already look at XRP. Komodo was doing pretty well. It's done pretty well the past month. It's done almost an X and a half. Dia, this is a play that is frustrating a lot of people. I'm in it too. I've mismanaged my account a few times, so I mismanaged it here. Started selling there. I held. It bounced up. Instead of selling here, I held, which is obviously key resistance zones. To me, it could possibly just consolidate between 2.9 and basically 3.3 and see if it goes sideways, something like this here before it makes an attempt at $6. I'm still targeting these areas here. That's why I've still stayed in, trying to be patient with this play. It's during the bull markets, buy the dips or buy the pukes strategically. Grin, I do believe Grin has reversed downtrend in my opinion. I think it's going to start a new trend up. I would say it's at resistance. I would say wait to see to about 60 cents and 70 cents. And I do believe Grin has reversed the downtrend it's had for almost a year and a half. Let's see what else. Komodo. I think Komodo is just ready. I just be impatient. I really think this is almost ready. If it flips this zone here, which is 320, 330, I think we might have a sell-off, and then we may have a pop-up back up to these levels, 535, possibly top of these wicks. This is something that you should be keeping an eye on. Just go down to a lower time frame, the hourly, and just try to find your entry there. Just try to find some support in those levels. You want to turn your EMAs on. You can do that. I'm using this EMA on by Andres. This guy is really good. He offers some free indicators, and they are the best, to be honest with you. They're one of the best of the free ones. There's many more, but those are the best, one of the best free ones that I've come across, and they're pretty good. So these are the EMAs that I've used. The red is the 200. That's the 55 EMA here. So that's a zone where I'm targeting. That's the 10 or the 20. To see price is above. It's above the 20 EMA, so everything looks good. It's just about buying the dips in the lower time frame for Komodo BTC, in my opinion. All right, I only use EMAs in high time frame to confirm support and resistance and crossing EMAs. EOS is a very complex one. To be honest with you, to me, this is just going to run what I notice. The monthly, in my opinion, it says buy the dips. That's all I can say, folks. This is no financial advice. This is just suggestions, my opinion on what price action is doing, and that's basically it. So this zone here, 4.6. Now that I look at it first it broke the monthly down plane, the primary down, the downtrend primary line. It broke that. So I believe it's good. Could it possibly come back to retest here on BTC dump? Yes. But to me, once it broke above 3.5 and once it definitely got above 2.5, that trend to me had been reversed, especially here when it popped off to $5. It came back down, but it never closed below 3.5. It tried to, but it got bought up quickly. This to me possibly means that the downtrend has been reversed. We can have some consolidation, some side movement before we spike up. Once EOS closes above $5 and retest that zone, and that zone has been flipped convincingly, I do believe EOS, it's no brainer to just buy the dips, in my opinion. Again, no financial advice. I've been scaling in. Again, I've been scaling in on lower time frames. This is just accumulate the dips, and let's see what occurs. Of course, risk management, don't go all in. Do 10%, 20%, 30% at key zones. Just look at price action. Look at what EMAs are doing. Right now, price is moving sideways. So this is a tight range here. So we have some. So right now, I believe price is being pinched with some EMAs. We're gonna have a violent move pretty soon. That move could be upward, in my opinion. Let's look at the EMAs. And right now, price is sitting right on top of the 10, the 20. All the EMAs are below it. Of course, we can have a dump and retest 200 EMA again. Let's see what it's doing in lower time frame, and everything is sitting in this price, the 10 to 20 EMA. Okay. Weekly. 100 EMAs below. In my opinion, I think it's good to go. It's just buy the dips. I think we could have a little nice up trust candle pretty soon. That's just my opinion, but don't take my word for it. Please do your own research. This is only financial advice. This is just my opinion. This is just theorizing price action and price movement. Algo has been extremely disappointed. Oh man, this one here, like I said, a few accounts I mismanaged, but Algo has been extremely disappointed. Let's go to Algo USDT. I think it has a little longer history price. This one has been extremely disappointing in my opinion. I considered selling around here, but I did not. To rebuy lower, that would have been the ideal situation. Of course, hindsight, that's what you look at it. But this is a nice support zone right here between $1 and 85 cents. See consolidation around here before it keeps grinding up. I believe these could be the ultimate target here, possibly higher, but this is the zone that I'm looking at. Again, this is no financial advice. This is me just theorizing price movement and projection. Neo has been a little bit enigmatic. I do believe it's by the dips on Neos. I didn't buy Neo around this zone last month or so, which was around here. I was suggesting to friends of mine to accumulate around the zone. Anything below here, this will be the first target. Just accumulate. You're only buying 10, 20%, seeing what price moves. As price moves higher, you will ladder in more. All right. So right now, this could be possibly a little nice zone to zoom in. I really haven't looked at this chart in a while. It seems like there's a little more down to go. It seems like Neo wants to come similar price action to EOS, but for some reason EOS look a little bit more. It looks better with the indicators. This could possibly backdrop down to $35 around that range. Just keep an eye on that on Neo. Gas has had a monster run. We have a consolidation on top of this range. I believe it could possibly pop higher. This is where you have to have a tight stop loss. You want to use the indicators as an indication where price could move, and possibly the EMAs as well. My only concern here is that let me turn this one off. Sorry. My only concern here is that the EMAs were a little too far away from price action, so I want them to be a little closer. As you see, it's grossly overbought on the weekly, so I believe if either makes an attempt higher, but it seems like it wants to come a little lower, possibly back down to $8 around that range before it continues higher. This to me still looks good on a monthly level. So this is, to me, is just buy the dips, guys. We're in a bull market. A lot of these alts have reversed a downtrend. So you see this downtrend where it goes straight down. You put the drawing and then moving sideways. This is something that was happening with Grin right now. Grin, just buy the dips. I'm not saying Grin is going to print a huge delta like this, but all I'm saying is giving you an example that this was a primary downtrend that was broken. Price began to move sideways, and then price expanded. So Grin is doing something similar. Some of these BTC pairs I think is good to go. It's just buy the dips. The BTC pairs I do believe is going to be what was last March, where last March BTC bottom. Hindsight, obviously now everyone is saying that. Everyone realized it, where all these fiat pairings, they all bought them at that time, and people bought, whoever bought them in have been in great profits, possibly riches until now. And now we're looking at these fiat pairs a year later and be like, oh, we should have bought them. I think some of these BTC pairs could be the same. Just accumulate at key zones. So these are the ones that I've been looking at. And these are the ones that begin a lot of chatter on CT. I think Verge in a lower time frame looks extremely good. In my opinion, it's just about being patient. Of course, some of these are a little higher risk than others, all right? So that's also you have to take into consideration when you get into these alts. You got to decide if this is an investment or this is a potential investment or just a swing trade or make trade or intraday. For me, it's more like a mid-swing, all right? So this is the level. It regained this level here again. It tried to flip it once, twice, deviation, and tried again, and then it regained it. I believe this could go a little dip, a little sideways before it makes an attempt again back at these levels, 82 to 90 sats, before it continue all the way back up to 200 to 250 sats. Indicators, they're all just moving at a fast pace, keep making higher low. Price action eventually is going to catch up to that. I mean, it's going to reflect that. So we should have a nice expansion on Verge. I'm not sure the timetable, but it should occur. So now we're talking about here SIA. So around this level, I was suggestions to friends, maybe start accumulating or go for an intraday trade. I didn't get in there. I got in around here. Now moving sideways, it was moving sideways on a daily around that level, and it sort of seemed like it wanted to go higher, so that's where I got in. I guessed correctly. I made almost, I called the whole move. I sold, and then I rebought a little early, but I think this is a rebuy the dips. As you see, this is a support zone, and I really believe SIA could possibly be reversing their downtrend. But you see here, rejected. This is last summer. There was a lot of hype on it, and it just was never able to get over 50 sides. So as you see here again, when it did not get over, I do believe that it could possibly come a little lower, possibly retest 25 sides or 32 sides. But I would just wait to see how price behave. This is a nasty bearish pin bar at this resistance level. So this is a nasty one here. So I'll be a little cautious. The only way this is not a nasty candle is if the next 3-day candle opens up green. Then at that point I would say just buy the dip, because it's gonna cross above this level and just take off. But for now, just ladder in slowly, 5%, 10%. See what happens at this support level on a lower time frame. Let's go down to the 4-hour. It's just going right now straight down. It seems like it's going to want this zone here between 34 and 30 sides. And again, just ladder in slowly. Let's see how price reacts when it comes to that level. What's the other one? BAT USD has done great. Really don't have much to say there. On the BAT BTC, I do believe just ladder in, just buy, accumulate. I've done that. I'm planning on possibly adding more as this dips down, possibly retest this level again, but it should not, because it retested here, said it was good, so it possibly should just range around this level, unless BTC makes a little nice correction, or BTC just gives a nice up thrust, which I think is going to happen in the next couple of days or weeks, and these also going to take a backseat. But for now, I think some of them will play well, in my opinion. They've held pretty well from yesterday, a little small dip. So this could go a little sideways here along this level, 1,800 sides. Even if you retest 1,600 sides, I will be adding more on the dips. We're looking at this on the monthly, and I believe eventually it's going to come back up here. It's just a matter of time. It's something similar to Matic. That's basically something similar to what Matic did. I believe BAT is doing something to what Matic did before it had that massive expansion. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Nope, that's not the one. So Matic was somewhere around here. It was just annoying me insanely. I missed this whole pump because I was too impatient, and honestly, I made a mistake. So I think a friend of mine, he's the one that told me look at Matic. He started buying around these levels. He literally caught the bottom. He's done a great job. So from here to here, we're talking about, there it is, guys, right there, 13x. If I would have just been patient. I sold a little too early, but this is what I'm talking about. I think BAT is doing something like this. BAT is somewhere around here. All right? It's just going to frustrate you. I think BAT is somewhere around this level before we have an expansion and just goes on a run. That's my opinion. Now let's look at BAT USD with this grayscale listing. I don't know how this is going to happen, but I think it will. I think it will happen. These been my targets. I did not rebuy at the 42 level. I thought it was going to possibly come down to 38 cents to retest the zone from where it broke out of. It didn't come back. It came near it. So I should have just laddered in. So I did follow my own rule, ladder in at the 42 cents. It did come near that 38 cents. So at that point, you can ladder in right here. It wigged here, then it closed above. Then I should have seen price action consolidating along this band for 5 days or 6 days, and I should have been laddering in with my stop loss below, and I did not execute well. Okay. Oh yeah, what I really wanted to show you, I don't know how it's gonna happen. We could probably have a little deeper correction, possibly 87 cents, 90 cents, but in my opinion, these targets will be hit. $2. I'm not sure about this, but I think something around here will be hit. The volume has been insane. The monthly, yeah, and above market, anything not above 80 is not oversold. So again, I'm just theorizing price. This is just opinions, theorizing price action. This is no financial advice. I'm just doing this to practice on charts and just theorizing price movement and what exactly price is doing. Let's see if I can find something else. So I got into this one a couple of days ago. I got in a little early, to be honest, but it's okay because I'm looking, again, I'm doing mid swings. I'm looking at these targets up here. We're talking about another 2-3x. As you see here, there's been a nice resistance zone. Let me see. I actually got in somewhere around here, a little high. I didn't wait for the zone. My problem is I get a little too impatient, and that's something I have to overcome. And again, but overcoming the impatience is by laddering in, accumulating slowly. Okay. Again, sometimes I don't follow my own rules. I give better advice than, to be honest. Meaning that I give the advices that are good, but I just don't adhere to them myself, which is kind of bad, I know. But anyway, so this is the resistance zone. We could have another possibly a little dump before we have a little nice expansion. Supposedly they got some news going on. This is an NFT project. I really think it's really underrated. Well, not really, because it has done a 3x from this bottom here. I didn't get on that one. I forgot completely, or I got lazy. I got into VRA. I caught almost near the first pump, but I left super early on VRA. That's the hardest thing, catching bottoms and catching tops, but it's okay. You know, making small gains, regardless of how little it is, it's still positive. So, full disclosure, I don't trade with size and none of that stuff. I'm just an everyday Joe with a regular job who's just trying to make a living out of trading. I don't think I can make a living out of trading, but you know, make a little bit of money. And then also I am investing long term. Long term is relatively 6 months, a year, whatever that is. You know, especially in crypto, it shouldn't be, in my opinion, more than 2 years, 3 years at best, or even less than that. You should be revolving your portfolio and updating your portfolio to see where that project is at. I charge just to practice, and I don't know, just see if anyone can benefit from what I have to show you guys, see if it's helpful. So this is a bullish monthly pattern. That's the reason I just bought. I wasn't too concerned. Of course, you want to optimize your entries and you want to optimize your investment by going to lower time frames and try to get the best entry possible. On the monthly is bullish. The upturn has been up. It's been reversed. It's just about when would the expansion occur. They got some news going on. Just go in CT. Just type in Sol. Just go and research them real quick. They got something going on. Some news going on. So this one has had a nice bounce. I want to get back in, but I'm just waiting to see where we're price settle at. This would have been a nice zone, but I was a little nervous. I know what BTC was doing, and again, you can overcome that by accumulating and having your stop losses. This would have been a little nice return, 50%. So I hesitated. I was a little nervous. I didn't execute my plan well. So that's basically it. So now this one, a friend of mine told me, so I got in a little later on here, and I sold here right before this whole run, but that's all right. You know, I guess we'll run into another one eventually. Again, this is no financial advice. It's just me theorizing price action, where price could go. This is no financial advice. This is just for educational purposes and entertainment purposes. CRV USD, I believe it has reversed its downtrend, and this is one where it just accumulate the dips unless it breaks below 1.9 again. If it closes below 1.9, then definitely bearish and it will be retest 1.3. But in my opinion, this is just buy the dips. In my opinion, accumulate. Let's look at XLM before this is done with. I'm just trying to show you what some price movement on some alts, and then the ones that I think are trending nice or has the bigger gains to go. XLM, the only thing I got to say about XLM, guys, once it closes above 800 sats, you could theoretically just long this with your eyes closed. The reason for that's been a level where price has been sold off repeatedly. Here, okay? You can say 800 sats. I'm waiting for that 800 sats to be reclaimed. If you want to be really conservative, then you'll say 900 sats. Once 900 sats breaks clean, like something like this, you can buy it in the retest or just go long there and just put your stop loss below. You want to play conservative, wait for 900 sats, 930 sats to be reclaimed. On the retest or on a clean break. For me, it would be 800 sats. I'm always trying to catch bottoms. They're hard to do, but try to get early on as possible. If someone could start accumulating now, add here. Any close below 600 sats, you would just cut your losses. You're adding slow, 10%, 15%. So even if it drops 10%, so let's say someone here is someone trading with size, let's say $1,000. I don't trade with $1,000, $200-300 to be transparent, guys. Again, I'm an everyday person. I'm an everyday Joe. I don't trade with size, anything like that. I'm just trying to learn how to trade. I'm building my portfolio and trying to see where it takes me. I am a midterm, long-term investor, so sometimes I tend to, add a little bit more than $300 to some of these alts. Okay, so you can let's say theoretically you're doing $1,000. So you would say, okay, I'm going to accumulate here, and then if it has a drop below 600, then I've closed my trade. So we're talking about a 20% drop, possibly. Let me see. We're talking about 8% drop. So an 8% of $1,000 is $80. So if you have $1,000 for this play, what you would say is, we'll accumulate here 10-15%. If it drops, let's say 25%, that'll be $250. 8% of $250, I think it's like $10 or $8. So that's how you accumulate, and that's how you minimize your losses. And then as price begins to move higher, then you start adding more. So let's say it's here, it's going sideways. You say, I'm waiting. And then once it closes above 800 sats, it comes down to retest, then you add another 20%. Then you start increasing on what you're adding. And then once it definitely closes above 900 sats and it retests that area and it maintains a higher low from here, here, and here, then you add the rest, and that's it. Now you've averaged in closer to 800 sats. Okay, so you average in now let's say 730, 700, then you say 800, what was that? 1500, then you say 900. We're talking about 2,400 divided by 3. That brings you around 750 sats. That was your average averaging. That was your average cost. So that's the way when I mean accumulate, or if something's so obvious that is ranging, then I would say just accumulate. Let me show that real quick. I didn't take this play. My friend did. He asked me to chart it for him. So I'm talking about something like this, okay? As you see here, a whole bunch of dojis. Whenever you see a whole bunch of dojis like this at the bottom of at the bottom or building a base, the trend has been reversed, okay? I just never looked at it in a higher time frame. I was just too stuck on a daily, so I messed up. As you see, the downtrend has been broken. It's been going sideways. You have the expansion. That's a good indication. You wait for a retest, try to find a support level. The retest should be near the breakout area from where it was ranging. Here, it came near it. Okay, it doesn't have to touch it. As long as it comes near it, you can start accumulating and buying in. At that point, that's what I should have done. Should have gotten in, and I should have just been buying. Just should have bought here and should have hold, because that should have been the expansion. Okay, so something like this, guys. Something is ranging sideways like this. Something is ranging side like that. You got to find your validation zone. Like here, to me, it was this zone here. If it claimed here, I said long. That's what my friend did. He actually got a great entries. And you're just buying here. So you're buying a support. You wait. You buy. Stop loss below. And you're just buying at support slowly. Once it breaks up, it comes down to retest. Then you add the rest with your stop loss below. Then you start laddering in upward. That's price moving up. TRX is another one that looks good, in my opinion. I just think you got to be a little patient with this one. This one is definitely accumulate resistance, selling off. It possibly come back down to 100 sats and possibly 94 sats. Just accumulate along this zone between 100 sats and basically 90 sats. I think this is a good play for accumulation, and I think it's just getting started. So this is one that something like this, guys. You see it has coming down, broke the primary downtrend on this weekly here, and you're just moving sideways before we have that expansion. Then on this retest here, you just go long. That's basically it, folks.